And my personal question to you is, why not you? You've got the brains, you can make decisions, you can study the plan, you can change your life, you can grow immensely in the next few years, you can make your dreams come true, you can build a financial wall around your family nothing can get through, you can become healthy, you can become powerful. Why not you?
If I see something, I see an opportunity, I'm gonna go for it. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? We only, we're all gonna die one day.
Yeah, it's true.
So we live like that. Live like you could die tomorrow. Go for it.
You are going to have to jump. You cannot just exist in this life. You have got to try to live. If you are waking up thinking that there's got to be more to your life than it is, man, believe that it is. But to get to that life, you're gonna have to jump.
Everything around you that you call life was made up by people that were no smarter than you. And you can change it. You can influence it. You can build your own things that other people can use. And the minute that you understand that you can poke life and actually something will, if you push in, something will pop out the other side, that you can change it, you can mold it. That's maybe the most important thing.
When you had that third failure in a row, did you think, I need to pack this in?
Never.
Why not?
I don't ever give up. I mean, I'd have to be dead or completely incapacitated.
I always felt like I could do anything. That's the main thing people are controlled by. Thoughts, their perception of themselves. They're slowed down by their perception of themselves. If you're taught you can't do anything, you won't do anything. I was taught I could do everything.
So what if I can pull off a fucking miracle? What if I can become someone that no one thinks I can be? And just me talking about that, I have the hair going up on my arms because it makes me just like, what if I can be that guy that people who call nigger and this and that, and now I'm speaking at Tom Ferry's fucking event.
We are humans. But then again, if you always think that we're humans, you will always just be a human and always make the same fucking mistakes. You must take this knowledge that you learn from all this shit is knowledge. So I'm just trying to give people that strength to go in the archives of your life. Because while you're probably fucked up, it's probably something happened to you in your life. Go through the archives, dig it up, study it, and then use it for yourself. That's the main purpose for me right now.
Why not see what kind of person you can become? Why not see what kind of influence you can have? Why not see how many people you can rescue from oblivion?
No, we're all writing a book. What's your book look like? What does your fucking book look like? Like your life is a book. You got a bunch of chapters in your book, but when they close that book, how good was the book? How good was your book? What was the ending to your book? If the ending to my book can be so amazing because of all that was done.
Be the guy who embraces the ugly, the miserable. Be the guy who embraces hard work, the grind. Don't be afraid of being hurt. Don't be afraid of sacrificing some blood.
Minimize the distractions in your life. We have so many distractions. The weapons of mass distractions cause most people not to begin to live their lives from the inside out, but from the outside in. There's an African proverb that said, if there's no enemy within, the enemy outside can do us no harm. Shakespeare said, the forte of Brutus is not in our stars, but in ourselves, and we are underlings. So you have to program yourself, or your mind will be programmed. The other thing is that have goals that's beyond your comfort zone, because in order to do something you've never done, you've got to become someone you've never been. You've got to become a risk taker. Viscott said, if you're not willing to risk, you can't grow. And if you can't grow, you can't become your best. And if you can't become your best, you can't be happy. And if you can't be happy, then what else is there? And the other thing is upgrade your relationships. You earn within $2,000 to $3,000 of your closest friends. You've got to look at the people in your life and ask, what is this relationship doing to me? There are many people, because of the toxic, negative, energy-draining people in their lives, they will never be successful because those toxic relationships will compromise their power. There's a new term in psychology, in psychiatry called relational illness. There's some people that can make you sick. Now, some people might say, Les, can we change them? No, it's a full-time job changing yourself. And there's some people that's so negative, they can walk into a dark room and begin to develop.
And now here's my last question. My very last question on the questions to ponder is, why not now? There never was a better time.
Whenever I was in college and I was feeling really stressed out and I was overwhelmed at times and I didn't like what the situation was, I would always say, what would I tell my future son? Because if I can't tell him to get through adversity right now, if I can't tell him to keep pushing through, if I don't live that, if I don't live through that, how am I going to ever give him genuine advice one day to get through it on his own? So you got to think, man, like sometimes you go through things and you don't know the reason at first, but it's not for right now. It's to help someone later, like your son or your daughter. Sometimes you're living through the toughest thing ever and you don't know why it's happening to you. But sometimes, guys, it's bigger than what you can even see right now. Sometimes your son going to be looking you in the eye and say, Dad, how do I get through this? And then what are you going to tell him when you quit before? What are you going to tell him when you took shortcuts? That's the point, man. There's so much stuff that's bigger than you right now that you're going through for a bigger purpose than you can even imagine.
There needs to be some period in your day where you remember that there's a world out there trying to tell you who you are, and there's a world in here that's trying to tell you who you are. Now, where do you want to put your eggs? Because the world outside is very noisy and very tempting, and it has all the razzmatazz, it has all the tinsel and all the glitter. It's got all the toys. But that's because you don't think you're enough in the first place. If you don't think you're enough in the first place, the whole idea of the world to sell you stuff is, first of all, they have to make you feel bad about yourself, less than in some way. And I don't resent this system, by the way. It is the system. But what's the expression about don't hate the player, hate the game? Don't hate the game. Love the game because you're in it, mate. So own the game, accept the rules, and move on into the rules. So the world will try and tell you who you are, and you have to tell yourself who you are.
Today you work so hard, of course you're gonna tired. Tomorrow rest, and Monday we're gonna begin one more training. If you don't want, go back to Dagestan and stay with your mom. She's gonna give you every day good breakfast. You don't do nothing. Stay there. But if you come here, don't complain. You wanna become best. You wanna become champion. And now you wanna say like you tired. Who cares? You tired or not? Nobody cares about you. Even you, if you're gonna watch fight, you just watch fight. They walk out inside the cage, they fight, and they leave. You don't know what happened behind the scenes. This is not your business. Nobody cares about this. He was tired, he have personal problem, family nobody cares. You don't know, like you just see how he fight and he go.
Successful people work harder than the average person, and very hard. The average successful person works 6 days a week, 59 hours. In the beginning of their career, sometimes it's 7 days a week and 80 hours. But the average is 59 hours, 6 days a week. And I was listening to an interview of a very successful Hollywood impresario, and the interviewer was saying, well, what do you do on the weekends with your spare time? And he said, pause. He said, I don't know any successful people who don't work less than 6 days a week. Everybody works on the weekends, you work. That's what successful people, they work long nights as well. And so many people, unfortunately, never were told that if you want to be successful, because everybody wants to be successful, so the competition is fierce. Everybody wants to be successful, and nobody's better than you, and nobody's smarter than you. You have exactly the same abilities, just like you can drive a car, you can be successful. You can drive a car, you can become wealthy. These people who are wealthy are people who just worked harder than the average person and worked harder for a long time.
This is not only about your skills. You have to be 100% with your mental and skills. When everything come together and you're not old, when you're 32 years old, your skills is good, your mental is good, everything come together, then you can shine. Because if you are not ready to sacrifice everything, even 1%, it have to be like 100%. You have to be focused to become world champion.
People need a new perspective, and you can't do it by just sitting and thinking. You got to move your body. You got to change your energy and your focus, because low level of energy, I don't give a damn how smart you are, you're not going to use all your ability. But if I get you into a higher state of being, mentally, emotionally, physically, then all of a sudden you start remembering who you are and you start coming up with answers that you never even thought were possible before. One of the things you have to understand about life is everything changes and everything ends. And that kind of sounds heavy on the front end, but it's a truth. If everything changes and everything ends, number one, it should make you appreciate what you have right now. And then my view is what's next is always better. If I make it so, it's my job to make it so. And so I think, for me, I look at it and say, when you said genius is a young man's game, I think that's total bullshit. I think passion is the genesis of genius. If you've got enough passion, you're going to find answers nobody else does. But most people run out of fuel, meaning they get tired, they get exhausted, they get burnt out, they get, the law of familiarity. They're around something so much they take it a little bit for granted. And I've managed to see something in myself that I found in every great leader that I've ever respected, and that is, I value intelligence immensely, but I know really smart people can't fight their way out of a paper bag pragmatically, right? I'm sure you do too. What I see as the one common denominator of people that are successful over a lifetime is the sustained hunger. Hunger is the number one factor. When I see somebody, I don't care what age they are, I don't care what their background is, if they're hungry to improve, to change, to make something happen.
Show me 5 individuals you hang out with, whatever they are, you're going to be the 6th. And this is imperative, guys. You're better off being alone than being with people that are going to drag you down. But you need to seriously be selfishly focused. And what I mean by that is, if people aren't adding to the mission or helping you get to the mission, they're no longer a part of the mission. Mm-hmm. And it's a very difficult thing to do, man. It really is. Because when you have childhood friends or people that you've known for a while, it's very difficult to let go of those relationships sometimes. But sometimes it has to be done, especially, right? Luckily, I didn't have to deal with this, but especially if your friends are involved in like drinking all the time, smoking weed, wanting to party, chasing cheap thrills and pleasures, and they don't have, their goals aren't aligning with your goals, bro, it's time to move on and find people that have aligned goals. Nothing puts men together better than a shared mission.
Confidence breeds success, and success breeds confidence. They go hand in hand. You can't accomplish anything unless you say, oh, I'm a prick, I could never do that. I'm not born to do that. Only certain people, only white people could do that. I can't do that. There's nothing I can't do.
I never looked at things as problems. I look at them as opportunities. Maybe that's something I can say. Someone, well, she did this, and well, what an opportunity you have. Yeah, well, the world, because they said this and CNN said that. Yeah, well, what an opportunity you have to make a difference, because you never know who's watching.
Taking risk is not just about going for a job. It's also about knowing what you know and what you don't know. It's about being open to people and to ideas. And I can't think of a better message as we send you off today. To not only take risks, but to be open to life, to accept new views, and to be open to new opinions. While it may be frightening, it will also be rewarding. Because the chances you take, the people you meet, the people you love, the faith that you have, that's what's going to define you.
This moment is preparing me for something amazing that hasn't happened yet. Mm-hmm. That saying, which I deeply believe, because life is the greatest school you will ever attend, hence we're at the School of Greatness, man. It anchors me down in hope, optimism, and faith, no matter what's happening. It is like a mental high five. And it has always borne out. that there's always a skill or an experience or a life lesson or a person that I have gained in every horrible thing that's ever happened to me or because of me that has prepared me for something amazing that's coming.
I judged myself so much on not being happy all the time because I thought there was something wrong with the fact that I wasn't happy, that I drove myself insane not being happy, rather than just being like, you know what, maybe I'm just gonna do the stuff and just fuck happiness for a minute. And so I think it's like when we have these, like, am I happy, am I not happy? I think my opinion is that you have to rise above it so that you can just see, you can feel the spectrum, which is just being present. Because I think, again, Alex's 2 cents, haven't been around that long. If you are present, you're present. Like most people aren't present ever. And so it's like, if I can just be present, even in my suffering, I'm there, right? Then I can experience joy for being human and having this experience that I only get once.
When I was young, I used to be a little piece of shit. You know, like fucking, oh, I'm not good enough, I can't do this, I can't do that. But the second I got my head out of my ass, and I realized, man, you can achieve a lot of shit if you get off your ass, you start moving, and you start motivating yourself. Start becoming a self-motivator. So I started front-loading. And front-loading these people, man, you've done so much by 47. Because I don't know what tomorrow's gonna bring me. So my military resume is fat. You know, I fucking did a lot in the military. I did a lot outside the military. I've made money. I've done almost every race out there, hard race in the world. I've broken pull-up records. I've done a lot of shit. So when these bad times come, and also not like only that, like work your ass off so you can enjoy. Yeah, you're taking a shot. You know, you may not live to be old, but what if you do? And you worked your ass off when you were able, and you were able to fucking get up early, able to grind. If you front load it properly, the back half of your fucking life is money.
When you're pursuing your greatness, you don't know what your limits are, so you act like you don't have any. You live from a place of the willingness to live life courageously, to be willing to take chances, to become a risk taker, to make impact, to go beyond believing to knowing, to lean not unto your own understanding, to feel within yourself, there's some cause, there's something that's bigger than me, but I'm never alone in facing this, that there's a presence that will never leave me nor forsake me, and that when you step into that place, more of thee, less of me, that there's a place where we can go within ourselves. There are things that we can accomplish, things that we can do that eye has not seen, ear has not heard, nor is it in the heart of mankind what God has in store for us. When we surrender life to me, when you're pursuing your greatness, you find something that you love, that you surrender to that something gives you life, and that you turn yourself over to that and allow yourself to be used by life. That, to me, is what greatness is.